What up, everybody? It's your local hero back again here with my co-host.
B1, APB Alpha. Bring your problems to me.
All right, we got a couple special guests here, man. We got underground wrestling royalty. The guy that this man knows is crazy, and me being an old school wrestling fan, is a pleasure to talk to both of these guys. Future cigar makers, they're getting their shit together. We got a master blender here, man. We got a wealth of information and knowledge out here. All right. So we got we got Big Dog here, Big Dog Cigars. We got his son here. We got the big one. Joe, you know what? We'll call you Joe, man. I don't even feel comfortable saying that. Pause. Um, yeah, man. No Frank Ocean, man. But we here with two people, man. Let's get into it. But before we get into it, what everybody smoking on?
I'm smoking. Actually, my son picked us up on his way home. I'm smoking an MC.
Mm-hmm.
By Cusano.
By Cusano.
Mm-hmm.
I've got
And then I'm actually.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying I just got my Gilberto Oliva.
That's a good smoke.
Yeah, I like it
Great
so far.
stick.
I like it.
Great smoke.
I had it a little too long, but I still like it. I bought this like 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
And I've been meaning to smoke it, and I never got around to smoking it.
Let it fucking age in the humidor, brother.
Oh, I got to get one of those. I'm working on it.
Keep telling me. All right, Joe,
Listen,
what
the
you smoking
Troubadour
on?
works too.
That's what I told him.
Lunatic. I'm smoking the Lunatic Torch by Aganorsa. The 4 3/4 by 70.
Shout out to Yamil.
That's normally one of my favorites, right? That's one of my go-tos. But today, from the ATL Cigar Company, I got this one, Good Trouble.
Okay.
I never even heard of the ATL Cigar Company. Gotta check it out.
They starting to come on heavy. I got that with my adult beverages, of course. So
there you go.
I got my adult beverage. I'm almost done with the bottle. I got about
so I got my
maybe one drink left.
I got my Modelo. And then I went high school with it.
I'll dig in the cooler or I go in the freezer and I'll get some shots.
So I went high school with mine. I didn't even feel like getting a glass. I just do it in a water bottle.
Go.
Oh wait,
there you go. That's the best way to do it.
And get the shots. I can't go in the freezer and get the shots because the wife said, "You touch my shots, I'll kill you."
I guess it all depends on how much you value your life, how bad you want those shots.
Depends on how good the shots are.
Correct, brother. Correct.
All right, so let's start with Big Dog. When it comes to how did you get into cigars, man?
Oh man, well, bro, I was in the wrestling business for over almost 30 years now. I'm getting back into it thanks to the big guy on the bottom on the right side.
But we'll get into more of that later on in the podcast.
So, I started dabbling in cigars. I started smoking like Gloria Cubana, the cheap end stuff. And, I started liking it. And I'm like, well, let me hang out with the boys. So I'm hanging out with the boys wrestling. Rakesh and all of them started smoking these big names like Rocky Patel. I didn't know who they were because I just started.
Right.
They're like, yo, come stay at the hotel with us. So I go to stay at the hotel with them. We shut the bar down. They're like, where you going? I said, I'm going home, bro. I live like 10 minutes away. And they're like, nah, you got to hang out and smoke some sticks with us. I said, what are we going to pick a branch off the tree or something? You know what I mean? He's like, nah. Yeah. And he opened the box, a 40 count humidor. And I'm like, oh. He's like, just pick one. I'm like, dude, I just started smoking. He's like, well, this one's good, that one's good, this one's good. So it's been about 25 years since I've been smoking.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell you, it's an expensive habit, but you know what? You meet so many people in the cigar world. Like the cigar world the cigar community is so big, but yet so small.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
You know what I mean? And nobody realizes that it's not what you know or what you smoke. It's who you know and who you meet. You know, myself and my son, we've traveled to many different places and met so many people. We've met Rick Rodriguez, Michael Giannini, Zach from Drew Estates, Matty Rock from Drew Estates. I mean, the list goes on. But, you know, and we met you gentlemen on IG. And I want to say thank you. Much respect for having us on. You know,
no problem.
We only spoke a few times. And, you know, I want to say much respect for having us on as new cigar makers, new cigar promoters, and you guys with your podcast. I appreciate it. Much love, brothers of the Leaf. You know, and I want to leave. I got 4 years left to retire from work. And when I retire, bro, I don't want to do nothing but smoke cigars and drink whiskey. You know,
that sounds like a plan.
My son is only 24 years old, 25 years old. My daughter's 15, and I want to leave them. Am I going to make it as big as Rocky Patel? My mouth to God's ears, I hope so. But if not, you know what? I can leave them something to say, hey, listen, those are my dad's cigars. My dad started this business. My son could pick the business up. My daughter wants to get involved, she can get involved. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And you
There's
know,
something that's left for generations to actually build on.
correct.
Like, I know you ain't got to make it to the top, but you pass it on to the next generation. They gonna add to it, and you keep adding to it. Next thing you know, hey, you up there.
Exactly, correct.
Let's get into Joe. Joe, how you did your father get you started, or did you sneak out and get it on your own?
No, so what it is here's how I started. So I used to go to a cigar lounge with him just to go hang out and just, you know, have our own time. You know what I mean? Like just us hanging out, laughing, joking. And it never really interested me. And then I was like, you know what? When I turned 18, I was like, you know what? I'm like, let me just give it a shot. You know, so I was like, hey, Dad, listen.
He got to ask the wife's permission.
You know, I'm like, hey, listen, I was like, I want to smoke. I'm like, I want to try it. I want to see if it's for me. You know, so I get a okay from him, and then I get a, you know, it's up to you from my mother. And then we go down and I smoke, and the first one he gave me was Acid Blondie.
That's my go-to.
It's not something I would smoke again, but starting off, it was nice because it wasn't killer. It wasn't, you know, it didn't make me want to get sick. I enjoyed it. But at the same time, it was kind of like, you know, there has to be more out there with substance, you know, and more flavors throughout the cigars. So within that week I started smoking, I went from an Acid Blondie to Asylum 13 6x60 Triple Maduro in a week.
That's a hell of a jump in a week.
So because you know what it was is I was down there with him all the time. So that's where we would spend our time together. You know, before all of this wrestling stuff came about and I had the opportunity to jump in that side of the business.
Right.
This was how we sat down and hung out.
Nothing wrong with that.
And you know, just growing up around that, I shouldn't say around that, but hanging out with him, meeting all the guys I knew, you know, it was just kind of like when I went and started smoking, I was just one of the guys. You know, they already knew who I was. We already had established relationships. You know, so it was going in. It was just I became part of the club, so to say.
I'll say it was something you were already familiar with before you actually got into it. Which
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure that makes it a lot easier too, you know.
It was. It made everything easier because then I could ask them questions.
Right.
You know, I could find out. But me being the guy that I am, I like to study I like to study everything. Just like, you know, in wrestling, we were talking about it on live one day. Dude, I go back and study wrestling from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s when I was a kid. I go back to the technical era in like the 70s with Ric Flair, Larry Zbyszko, all those guys. You know, so I like to study what I'm doing.
So that's Ric Flair
Jr. Everything. Everything.
That's cool. I'll be Tully Blanchard. It's cool.
Now we're gonna call you Booker T, bro.
Oh, okay. I'll take that.
Five times.
And I was the guy in the lounge that liked to, you know, if I was smoking, let's just say this came out when I was first smoking, I would buy this and then I would look it up and I would read up everything that's in it. All the flavor profiles, what it's made with, where it's made, who made it, you know, and then these guys smoking 15, 20 years longer than I have. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, listen, yes, I do. I'm like, unlike you guys, I like to know what I'm smoking and know what I'm supposed to get out of it.
This dude will smoke a cigar, okay? He will smoke a cigar, look it up, tell you how long the leaf's been aged, where it was aged, who rolled it, who did this, blah, 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 how many boxes were put out. Like when a JFR first came out, the 6x60, when that first came out, it was Father's Day. It was in a lounge, and I said, I want that cigar. Him, my wife, and my daughter went down and bought me that cigar. It was the first one in the lounge to purchase that cigar. That was a 4-hour cigar, and let me tell you, I could set that cigar down, I could walk away, and it didn't go out. It tasted the same, but I'll tell you what, that cigar right there is phenomenal.
4 hours. Woo!
Now that's so the one he's talking about, the torpedoed version. I think it's an 80 ring. They also have, I guess, like a Lancero version is what I call it, which is the jackhammer.
Yeah.
Then you have the El Chiquito, which is the little 70 ring. Yeah, that is. So that by far is one of my favorite cigars. Which again it just happens to be is also blended by, you know, Aganorsa in Jalapa, down in Nicaragua, you know, and what I didn't realize how many cigars that company actually does. You know, in talking to because by doing what I do on Instagram, by going live with a lot of guys, I actually became friends with the master blender. For Aganorsa. And, you know, they blend for HVC. They blend for, they just blended a Wiseman cigar.
Oh, I like the Wiseman.
That looks like so they just blended one. You know the little David and Goliath they made, the little Perfectos?
Yeah.
So they just made a red, which is the Maduro, and then the blue, which is lighter, and it's called Macho Raton.
Okay, because I had the Maduro, I ain't had the other one yet.
Look for that.
Yeah, so the Maduro is like the more common one. You don't see the blue too much.
Oh yeah,
but they just blended them. They just blended them the other day. He was on Instagram Live with us as they were putting the labels on and, you know, putting them in the boxes. So like he shows you the whole thing.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
I got a question for you guys now. You guys working on launching your cigars. Now let us know the process that goes into not only launching your cigars, but where are you going to get the tobacco? Like, what processes are you using to launch?
So
Well,
we're go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So there, our cigars are going to be based out of the DR.
Okay.
You know, and I told the guy who owns the factory what I am looking for in my cigar,
Hmm.
and I'm entrusting the master blender to include what I'm looking for in my stick.
Hmm.
You know, I am in the process of getting my passport and everything to be able to go down there to the factory myself
Hmm.
and see how the cigars are made and go through the whole process. And also on the back end, you have to, you know, not only do you have to get your LLC, but then you have to get your wholesaler tobacco license.
Hmm.
You have to have your taxes all set up, and you know you can also do. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. If you want to do it the right way to be able to make it big, you have to go through all the entire steps for each, you know, whatever state you're in.
Okay.
You have to go through those steps. Or what I actually just found out about through somebody else is they have something called a virtual office,
Uh-huh.
and you can rent an office in any state you want. But
Uh-huh.
when you do your stuff, you have to set up your LLC and your business in that state.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so you can go to either Florida, Pennsylvania, or New Hampshire, which are the states with little to no like tobacco
Sales
tax,
tax.
Yeah.
Okay.
tobacco
PA
sales
is
tax. That was it.
PA is
That was it. The sales
well,
tax. Yeah.
PA did that because they got Cigar International up there, and that was one of the things that Cigar International told them that we need this done, or we won't be up here. So that's why PA went with that.
Right, but
Right.
New York
And
is a 75% sales tax. So if I
Yeah,
brought
I heard that.
cigars into New York, I'd have to pay 75% sales tax on every cigar that I bring into New York.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And
That's crazy.
so a cigar that's going to cost the consumer $8 is now going to cost them $16. I can't do
Hmm.
that because you know what? If you live in New York and you like my cigars, and I say, yo, they're gonna cost you like $9, and I bring them to New York and they cost you like $20, you're gonna be like, yo, Dave, you lied to me. Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Right.
Hmm.
right. And being that we're
You
just
know what I'm
starting
saying?
off, we want to try to, you know, we want to try to make it as economically pleasing for the consumer as possible
Hmm.
Correct.
without having to break their wallets.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
You know, like we want to be able to get it to everybody, but at the same time, where like he said, if we bring it into New York, if I charge $50 for a 5 pack, that 5 pack now costs you 65
Hmm.
because I have to make
Plus
my money
shipping and
back
handling.
on the taxes,
Yeah, that's crazy.
which
That's
kind of
crazy.
sucks because as a consumer myself, that
Hmm.
sales tax kind of kills me because I don't buy a lot of my cigars here.
Yeah.
You know, I go to Pennsylvania, I go to Jersey, or I go to Connecticut because they're not as
Okay.
expensive as here.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
I heard a
That
lot of a lot of New York dudes was complaining about that, and they said the PCAs they're trying to work something out with them. But yeah, New York is the most expensive place to buy cigars. That's just crazy.
It is.
Correct.
And there's some
I think
beautiful
it's
cigar
us,
lounges
and
there.
then bro, there, and especially right by me, there's within 45 minutes, whether you go south or out towards Middletown,
Uh-huh.
is beautiful fucking cigar lounges. But because they're so
Hmm.
expensive, I buy 2 cigars, maybe 3, and that's my limit.
Yeah.
where I went to
Right.
Jersey last week.
Yeah.
And I bought 20, like almost 20 cigars between the two of us.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because it's cheap. I mean, nobody want to break themselves to get a cigar.
Exactly.
Right.
Like you shouldn't need a part-time job just to smoke, just to go buy a cigar.
Right. So
Exactly. And it
let's
wasn't
start.
like I bought, you know.
Let's
Go ahead.
start on how I came up with the name Boss Dog Cigars. So
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
I've been in the wrestling business 25 years, and I
Okay.
go by Big Dog. And at work, everybody used to call me Boss Dog because I used to be a supervisor, an acting supervisor. So they're like, yo, Boss Dog is here, Boss Dog is here, Boss Dog is here. Somebody said, yo, you should make t-shirts and do this and do that. So one day I was sitting in the house and I'm saying to my son, I'm like, yo, why don't we make a business and just call it Boss Dog? He goes, what do you mean? I said, let's just make a business that covers everything.
That makes sense.
Shirts, hats, cigars, entertainment, everything. So, and that's how the name came about, because instead of calling me Big Dog at work, they would be like, yo, Boss Dog, Boss Dog, Boss Dog, Boss Dog. And I'm like, it's Big Dog. They're like, nah, bro, you got a suit and tie on. You're a Boss Dog now. So I was like, oh, let's run with that. You know what I mean? And here we go.
Meaning.
Here we go. 10 years later.
A lot of cigars and a lot of cigar makers, when they name things, the name actually has a meaning. Like there's a story behind the name. It wasn't just like a random thought, like, oh, hey, we should just name this Asylum 13. Like there's a story behind the name.
Exactly.
And
it's gonna be a good segue. Let him
cigars, see, nobody realizes behind Boss Dog, it all has to do with the wrestling business and our cigars. And here's the cliche: our cigars have to do with the wrestling business. Like we got the squared circle, we got the Spanish announce team, we got the body slam, we got them all lined up already. And this is my son, the Brainiac. Like I said to everybody else, I'm just the CEO. This dude is the blender, the marketer, the CFO, the COO, everything. I'm just the guy that goes, okay, go ahead, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Nobody realizes, this is the gentleman that is putting it all together. I'm just the guy that's saying, let's go to DR, go to the factory, pick out what you want. I'll pick out what I want, and you put the labels on it.
So in that sense, it's still like wrestling because you be the front man in wrestling.
Correct.
Actually, my son is making his debut in wrestling on October 15th in Bayville, New Jersey.
So this is an exclusive. I haven't released this yet to anybody. You guys are getting it first. October 15th.
Oh shit!
In Bayville, New Jersey.
Okay.
For Funhouse Wrestling, I make
Shout
my
out to
official
Funhouse Wrestling
debut.
Shout out.
Nice.
I make my official in-ring debut in a 4-way tag match.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And
interesting to see.
And to make it even better, my partner is the guy sitting right there.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Coming out of retirement.
There you go. The new foundation.
You guys are getting it first.
The new foundation.
There y'all go. So now we kind of segue into wrestling. I guess we can talk about this. You guys, let's get into. I'm asking this for both of y'all. Who trained y'all And who who trains y'all? And like, did you ever consider like, or did you ever think, oh man, I want to work for WWE? Well, you at the time WWF, you now WWE.
So
Okay, so
I'll let you
I
go
was
first.
I was sitting at home when I was a kid. My mother raised 9 of us. And you know they had Saturday night's main event and all that stuff. So I got in some trouble in Yonkers, and a judge says to me, he goes, "You can either stay here and be on probation, or you can leave the state and go live with your brother in Texas." I took option B. I went to Texas. I trained with Chris Adams, God rest his soul, in the Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas, which is, there's no more Sportatorium. Now it's a Target. So, needless to say, I trained over there. I was with Rod Price, Austin, The Undertaker when he was under a mask, Matt Bourne, the original Doink the Clown, Jeff Jarrett when he had the Twix commercial going, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." So that's who I trained with. I came back to New York 15 years later, and I hooked up with Rikishi, Yokozuna, Ahmed Johnson, Tatanka, and Yokozuna and Rikishi says to me, they go, "You need to hook up with my uncle." I said, "Okay." They said, "Call my uncle up and tell him you want to get trained. Tell him you was already trained by Chris, but you want to get trained up here." So myself, my wife, my best friend, God rest his soul, and his wife drove to Allentown on a Friday night, stayed overnight. Saturday, we went to the Wild Samoan School of Wrestling. Shout out to Samu, Lloyd, Alpha Jr., and them guys. And when I got there, I started my training. Next thing I know, he goes, your trainer's late." So he calls up the trainer, and my trainer just happened to be Billy Kidman.
Oh, shit.
So Billy Kidman gets there, he starts training me, and Pops Afra said to him, he goes, "Get on all four," talking to Billy, and he said, "I'm going to push him over and let him take a bump." So as I start going over, Billy Kidman moves out of the way. I take the bump. He goes, "You didn't tell me that my trainee was a giant redwood." So I'm like, "Dude, seriously? I just took a bump?" And Pops is like, "That was one of the best bumps I had." So then between Alpha the Wild Samoan, the late great Pete McKay on Houston Street in Manhattan, and Johnny Rods, that's the people that trained me. My son has been trained by me. And a lot of people go, "But you're not a certified trainer."
Well,
I said,
so
what
now
consists of a certified trainer? I've been in the business 25 years. I've wrestled Bundy. I've wrestled 911. I'm best friends with Tommy Dreamer. Like, what is a certified trainer? Tony DeVito, Mike Bell. I said, so what consists of a certified trainer? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is a certified trainer? What is it? Because I don't have a school? I had a school in Yonkers. I trained Eddie Kingston, who's now in AEW.
I like Eddie Kingston. I like him.
You know what I'm saying? I trained Eddie Kingston
screams New York too. He just screams fucking New York. His whole mentality just says New York.
Kingston,
listen, I'm gonna be honest
Eddie
with you.
Kingston, he left my school and went to Shakira.
Okay.
He left my school and went to Shakira.
Under, Quackenbush.
Mike Quackenbush. I'm not, man. Listen, you got to get training everywhere you go because I have a different style. Mike Quackenbush has a different style. Low-key, listen, I also trained, shout out to LIWF, Bobby Lombardi. I trained with Homicide, Magic, who's an icon on the independents. I trained with Low-Key. I trained with Red. I gave Low-Key his first concussion. He was wrestling with me, and he had Kimona Wanalea from, my wife was laughing, Kimona Wanalea from ECW as his manager. And I picked him up like this, and I said, cover your head. I power bombed him. He didn't cover his head. When he came in the locker room, I said, yo, how many fingers I got up? He goes, 4. I said, no, I got 4 fingers and a thumb. And he started laughing. But, you know, people don't realize, man, that, you know, it's like the cigar world. The cigar world is big, yet so small. Wrestling world is big, but yet so small. In the wrestling world, it's not how many contacts you make, it's how many friends you make.
Okay, makes sense. That
Just
makes
like
sense.
the cigar world, it's how many friends you make. Like, we don't know each other in a real world. We know each other off IG.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And here, you gentlemen, much love. God bless you. You got me on IG with you. You got me on your podcast, and I'm much appreciated. Brothers of the Leaf. It's like a fraternity. You know, the cigar world is a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? It's called BOTL, SOTL, Sisters and Brothers of the Leaf. That's what we do. It's all about this. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So that's who I was trained by.
Okay.
So now I'll pick up where he left off. So I grew up watching as a kid, but with him being on the road and doing all these shows, I would go with him. I would hang out in the back, you know. So I grew up around the business. I grew up around the business, in the business, and it took me a long time to finally get my foot in the door. And I was able to get my foot in the door with another friend of his who had a little bit of a hand in training me, which would be, he went by Trooper Gilmore. He went by Paulie Gilmore as the MOB, the Men of Business. He now owns New World Wrestling Extreme. He actually gave me my start as a commentator. And then, you know, I was able to go on from there and there and there. And now I'm actually getting ready to make my debut as a wrestler. You know, so I've done commentary. I've done 2 shows for him. I've been back. I've helped run their backstage at a few shows. I've helped, you know, make up the cards because I have so much knowledge just from being around the business as a kid and just being a student of wrestling and knowing this will work, this won't work. You know, here's what you have to do. Like and growing up, I was always taught that, you know, a lot of guys now don't have it, and it's very unfortunate. When you walk in a locker room, you have to have respect for everybody. You know, you walk up, you introduce yourself, you shake everybody's hand in the locker room.
Right.
That's just a sign of respect. That's how I was brought up. You know, everybody says, yeah, but you're new. But, you know, everybody that I worked with up in New World when I started was all of the New England legends. You know, my dad, Trooper Gilmore, the Outpatient, you know, these guys, as much as I was a new guy to the industry, I was also grandfathered in as old generation because of the way I grew up and the respect I have for the business.
So now, would you ever think about going to the WWE if they offered?
Now, yeah. Now I would consider it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I grew up a TNA fan as much as I did WWE. So I would love to have a contract with any of those big companies.
Okay.
Well,
So
everybody's and
here's
what happened?
here's the deal on that. Here's the deal on that. So when my wife was pregnant for my son, I got a call from Kevin Kelly.
Okay.
Back then, Kevin Kelly was the booker for the WWE and or WWF back then. And they were like, we want to use you, but you got to go to Ohio Valley Wrestling. And I said, okay. And they said, you got to stay there and you can only go home on certain days. I actually turned the contract down because my wife was pregnant with Joey. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. But I did work for Vince twice. I had a fucking blast. I had a blast. And let me tell you, I went to WrestleMania 20 and Joey wouldn't go because at that time, Joey was still young. He was scared of The Undertaker.
Because if you guys remember at that point in time, that was when Undertaker had he had been written off TV.
Yeah.
Because of the story, I forget what storyline he was in, but that's when he was coming back. And they did all those big, scary vignettes. And, growing up watching the older vignettes, I was afraid of The Undertaker.
So
because he was
I went to WrestleMania 20. Right. So I went to WrestleMania 20 and I had a VIP pass. So I went to the Madison Square Garden. I went to the employees entrance and I walked through the employees entrance and some random guy, I have no idea who he is till this day. I'm walking through with my cousin, his girlfriend, my other cousin, and a friend of mine. And they're like, he's like, yo, that's Big Dog. And I'm like, he's like, yo, Dave, he just called you out by name. I'm like, what? He said, yo, that dude just called you Big Dog. I'm like, yo, go to the car. I got pictures and shirts in there. Give this kid a picture and shirt. So I give it to him. I said, how do you know me? He goes, you wrestled with Tony Rumble in the NWA New England. He said you were the Brotherhood. And I'm like, what? I said, how do you know that? He said, you were in Ogdensburg, New York. You were in Blackstone, Mass. You were in they got a game thing up there in Boston. And I'm like, what? I said, seriously? He goes, yeah. So I give him his shirt and stuff, sign the autographs. So Hillbilly Jim is walking by me. He goes, yo, Big Dog, what's going on? And I'm looking at him like, he said, you coming in or you staying outside? I said, no, I'm coming right behind you. So I go inside. We get on the elevator. Myself and my guest. Who gets on the elevator? Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and I'm like, and my cousin's standing there like a deer in headlights. He's like, he's hitting me. He's like, yo. I said, yeah, what? He goes, you know who that is? That's the Hardy Boys and Rey Mysterio. I'm like, okay. Ray turns around and goes, what's up, Big Dog? I'm like, Ray, what's going on, kid? And then Jeff Hardy turns around and goes, what's up, Big Dog? I said, what's going on to the Hardy Boys? So now we get off the elevator, and I'm standing by the elevator, and Rikishi walks by. And he goes, yo, what's up, Oos? I said, what's going on, man? He goes, yo, you here to wrestle? I said, don't I only fucking wish. I said, I'm here to watch the show. He goes, yo, dog, whatever you want, just let me know. All of a sudden, here comes Linda McMahon and Brock Lesnar. Linda McMahon and Brock Lesnar's walking by.
That was when Brock was the next big thing.
They're filming the they're filming his promotion, let's per se, like for that night. Right. So they walk by, they do the promo. Next thing I know, Triple H is like, have you seen Stephanie? I'm like, no, I didn't. Meanwhile, Triple H is smaller than me. Mm-hmm. And he's got on black sweatpants, Adidas with white lines on the side. He's like, man, I can't believe she's late. I told her to be here on time. And I'm sitting there going, motherfucker, you just was banging China like 3 weeks ago. Like now you with Stephanie. But needless to say, so, you know, you never know what is in these wrestling minds of people that watch wrestling because, yo, I can go anywhere. Like, I go to New World Wrestling Extreme, people know me. Like, we got booked on Funhouse Wrestling, and that's my friend Magic, who I rode the ropes with for 30 years. He's like, yo, you're going to get winded because you're a fat old man now. I said, bro, I ain't never get winded, just so you know. I said, but needless to say, and then when Captain Lou died, I took my son to the funeral. I took my son to the funeral. I show up to the funeral in a Hawaiian shirt. I go to the funeral. I pay my respects. I turn around to the family, and I say, listen, I'm sorry for Captain Lou. And they go, big dog, right? I'm like, yeah. And they go, Captain Lou did nothing but talk good things about you. I said, much respect. I said, he was a legend. I said, and he taught me a lot of stuff. Meanwhile, Jimmy Snooker showed up. Johnny Rod showed up. For a while, Simone showed up. So Joey was sitting on the couch. Joey was sitting on the couch in like the I call it the break room. So Pops was looking for a place to sit. Joe was sitting down. I'm like, yo, get up. He's like, no, son, it's okay. You don't have to get up. I said, Pops, he got to get up. I said, he's only 19 years old. He can stand up. It's okay. I said, guys like me and you got to sit down.
I don't even think I was that old. I think I had to be maybe 14 or 15 at the time. And by that point in time, I had met Captain Lou numerous times. I had established a good relationship with Captain Lou. And, you know, what a lot of people don't realize is I became so close with Captain Lou through, you know, going to all the signings and being with my dad that Captain Lou was an uncle to me.
See, that's got to be.
So he was, I mean, you want to talk about the sweetest man alive? That dude was a sweetheart. But what you saw on TV was him in real life. The yelling,
correct,
the over exaggeration. That was Captain Lou from start to finish.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that night, the amount of wrestling royalty and legends that I had met that night, I couldn't even begin to tell you the amount of conversations I had.
So you know, like I did a show in Carmel with Captain Lou, and Alpha booked me for the show. So I showed up at the junior high, and they moved the show to the high school. So I call up Pops. I'm like, Pops, I'm at the junior high. There's nobody here. He goes, oh, we moved it to the high school. I forgot to text you. I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. I'm like 2 minutes away. So I get there, and I'm like, damn, Pops. He's like, all of a sudden, Captain Luke turns around and goes, you're here, ain't you? I said, yeah. He goes, now get in the locker room and change your goddamn clothes and get into the gear. He goes, because that's the way this works. And I'm like, all right, Cap. He goes, and God damn it, when I call you, answer your phone. I'm like, you didn't call me. He goes, I did call you. I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, sorry, huh? He goes, and don't ever let my phone go to voicemail again.
And what you're also missing is his famous name for you was Fat Fuck. No matter how skinny you got, how much weight he lost, it was always, where are you, you fat fuck?
Tell him about when you went to the signing.
So I went to an autograph signing right up the road from my house. And, you know, at this point in time, TNA had been big. I was an AJ Styles fan. I still am. That dude was fucking amazing. I mean, his name speaks for itself, the Phenomenal One. I've seen that dude do so much shit. And I happen to have his shirt on because I was going there to meet him. So I'm in this stairwell, and my mom is with me. And now I'm sitting in the stairwell, you know, waiting. AJ comes walking by and looks at me and goes, "Hey, nice shirt, kid." And I fucking sat there just like this.
Like a deer in
Because I was
headlights.
so because I was starstruck. Because I was a huge AJ fan. So now I go upstairs, and when I get up there, there's a few guys there that I've already met and I've known. And, you know, I get over to Captain Lou's table, and I say, "Hey, Captain Lou, how are you?" He goes, "Hey, how are you? How are you?" I'm like, "You know my dad." "Who's your dad?" I was like, "Big Dog." He goes, "Big Dog? Where is he?" He goes, "That fat motherfucker should be here. Where is he?" So I call him at work. I call him. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I got somebody that wants to talk to you." He's like, "Joe, what's wrong? What do you do?" He goes, "What's wrong?" So I hand the phone over, and I go, "You have a phone call," and I hand it to him. And Captain Lou goes, "You fat bastard, where the fuck are you? What are you doing? Why are you not here? What are you doing?" And next thing I know, I get a phone call after he leaves work. He comes up, he calls me, he goes, "Tell Captain Lou I'm on my way." I'm like, "Well, you got an hour and a half left in the signing." And I tell Captain Lou, I'm like, "Cap, he's on his way." He goes, "See? Fucking on his way. He should have already fucking been here. He fucking knew I was going to be here. Fucking should have already been here." So it was the best thing ever. I mean, you know, the amount of legends and people that I've crossed paths with over the years, I wouldn't trade that for the world. Just because of the friends I've made, the people I've met, the people I've had the opportunity to work with, you know, whether it's backstage or doing commentary work or just being around those guys. Like, you know, that night of Captain Lou's wake when we went,
Well,
I had a conversation outside. I had a conversation with Johnny Rods.
Here's a picture of me.
Nice. So I got a question for you,
You know
Joe.
that?
So is your signature move going to be called cigar cutter?
Say again?
No, I was asking Joe. I was like, so will his signature move be called the cigar cutter?
You know what? I like it. I like it. It's dope. Yeah. So you ever thought about that since you're doing wrestling with the cigars? You do the cigars with your wrestling?
Either that, or I got another one for you. The final smoke. The final smoke.
So,
well, I like that.
Here's the funny
Joe,
thing.
I like that. But the thing is, I like the thing about no one's going to put out cigars that has to do with a certain group of things, whether it be rock and roll, whether it be TV shows. Everybody's put out cigars with their name on it. We're putting out cigars that have to do with wrestling.
Yeah.
So now, not to cut you off, but there is one other person that happened to do it. There's one other guy that did it.
Who did it?
And his company is no longer in business. But the only other guy to do it was Sam Lucia, the owner of Lucia Tobacco. He put out a wrestling themed cigar. It had a Rey Mysterio mask on it, and they called it the Luchadors.
Oh, I remember those.
He had one called Gringo Pile Driver. He had one called I think it was like the springboard, the body, you know, he did it. But, and again, I don't know what the situation was with the company. You know, I don't know if it went out. I know it went out of business, which is a terrible thing because I thoroughly enjoyed those sticks. You know, not only because I'm a wrestling fan, but because they were just very good cigars. And you know, I came up with this in my head, and you know, the official first release when it comes out is going to be a box press 6x52 or 6x54, and that's going to be called the squared circle.
Squared circle.
I like that. The box pressed. Okay, so I had a little squared. Okay, I get you. That's dope.
You see what I did there? You see what
Yeah,
I did there?
I see that. I see that. I see that.
Now, you know, and so to tie this even more into wrestling, we went up to New World Wrestling Extreme. It had to be last month, and we met a guy who goes by Big Smoke. He's a fellow cigar smoker, and he runs a group called the Humidor. His group that he runs that wrestles up in, you know, they go to New England, they wrestle in New York, Jersey, Pennsylvania. They're called the Humidor. So I became friends with him, and I said to him, if I wrestled, you know, I'm like, this group would be right up my alley. It would be perfect because they're, you know, they're big guys, but they like to brawl. They like to have the street fights. They like to hit hard. You know, so being the guy that I am, I love to do all that. But I also like to fly once in a while.
That's always a good thing.
Like, you know,
I mean, it's a good thing till you wind up like Sid Vicious.
Listen,
that was terrible.
That
was a terrible accident.
So that's how we became Boss Dog Cigars, because you know, like I said to you earlier in the interview, everybody used to call me Boss Dog, and I have a friend of mine, Julian, who started that name, and he's like, yo, you should put out shirts, hats, whatever. So I started that, and then my wife got sick, so I had to put everything on hold. So now that she's better, now we're gonna get our passports. We're gonna go to DR, and you know, we're gonna go there. Joey's gonna be the blender. He knows what I like. You know what I'm saying? So people like, yeah, but it's not your blend. I said, it is my blend. I said, I'm gonna be there testing the blend. I said, he's gonna tell them what I want, and I'm gonna be there testing it. If I don't like it, it's not going out, because the way it works is I don't want it just for me. I want it for the consumer. And a lot of people don't realize when they make cigars, it's more for them, where me, it's more for the consumer. Like you two gentlemen, I want you to taste the cigar and be like, yo, Dave, this cigar is really good. And if it ain't good, I'm going to be like, yo, if it sucks, that means I got to go back to the master blender and tell them, yo, we got to change the blend up.
Correct.
Right. You go in.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you tweak some things so you can get it right.
You know, like,
correct.
And that's what from talking to different cigar company owners and guys I've made friends with in the boutique cigar industry, you know, what a lot of people don't realize also is, you know, like mine's gonna be a full body wrapper. I'm gonna have mine is gonna be a San Andreas wrapper.
Okay.
But what I want it is, I'd rather have the San Andreas wrapper, but have it full of flavor. You know, I don't want it to knock you on your ass, because at the end of the day, you know, I want it to cater to everybody, not just the strong cigar smokers.
That's something that everybody can enjoy.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm here. I'm moving. I'm moving to a better location.
That makes sense.
Now,
that makes.
It's getting cooler where I can sit on my patio now, so I'm gonna move over there. But I'm still here with you guys.
Oh shit!
Yeah, patio time.
Yo, you smoking ganja, bro? Because your car looks smoky.
It's how it's supposed to look. If you don't smoke and you get in my car, it's gonna be a long ride for you. You know? But it's cool because the Greyhound still run.
I feel you with that one.
Yo, but yeah, I do want to say, I appreciate you gentlemen having us on.
We appreciate you.
Much love. And, you know, you guys, along with the other podcast I'm going on 26th of August,
okay.
As long as you guys keep doing this, the cigar world is going to grow. A lot of people don't realize there's more women that smoke cigars than are men.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes, so we had a lot of them on the show. You know, we had a lot of female cigar makers as well on the show.
My brother wants to put out a cigar, and I keep calling him Skinny Jeans. So I said to him, yo, you got to put out a cigar called Skinny Jeans, because he always wears the jeans that go tight at the bottom. So I'm like, yo,
I can't do it.
Put out a cigar called Skinny Jeans. Watch how fast that sells.
Oh, it'll sell. It'll definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, truth be told, you know, and speaking on names like that, you know, a big company that does names like that is Privada. Mm-hmm. And their cigars do sell.
Yeah.
They do sell because a lot of people buy them just based on the names alone.
I mean, and when you're doing marketing, you gotta try to figure out what is it that's gonna draw people to your cigar.
You know, and speaking of Privada, man, Privada it's like a fucking cult, man. They got the tattoos and everything. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll get a cigar off Privada, but damn, these dudes be going, yo, they be serious about their Privada.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question. Do you know what the cigars are made of? Do you know what the cigars are made of?
Shitting. This is not shitting on Privada. This is not anything like that. This is just asking basic questions.
Do you know what the cigars are made of?
No, I've never actually smoked Privada.
I had Purple People Eater. That was it. That's all I had for now.
What's it made of?
Let me ask you, how was that?
It was a full body. I had a little kick to it. It was okay. It was okay.
Is it a long filler, short filler, San Andreas?
I think it was San Andreas. Long filler. It was definitely long filler.
Okay.
And now, do you know that from them, or did you research?
No, from smoking it. No, from smoking it. Normally, when it's a short filler, it breaks off in my mouth. Like pieces when I'm smoking them, like any short filler I smoke, the tobacco comes out into my mouth, and I hate that.
Whatever personal preference you have is your business.
Come on,
I mean, you know, no, but, I'm just saying, right, whatever preference you have is your business.
You got me on there.
You still my little brother. I won't judge.
You got me.
We don't judge around here.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
I'm not judging you, brother.
I appreciate that.
I'm not judging you.
This is no zone.
I'm not judging
no
you.
Judgment zone. I think I got a problem, guys.
He said I got a problem.
I think I got a problem. You gotta fix this.
He said I got a problem. Yo, you gotta fix that problem, bro.
We gotta fix this. I agree with you. We gotta deal with this somehow. I'm gonna go to a class. I'm definitely going to a class. All jokes aside, I'm hoping that I can get at least 1,000 cigars out by next year. Okay.
Hey, that's a good goal.
we will send you guys some to taste test them and let us know how you like them. If you want, we can come on here and we can taste test them together.
Yes,
I'm hoping by next year.
Right there.
Yep.
I'm hoping by next year that we can get them out and sell 5 packs. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not out to rape nobody's pockets. I'm not gonna charge you $75 for a 5-pack. It's not gonna happen because I ain't paying $75 for a 5-pack.
Speaking of which, so here's my question. So going back to what you said about the virtual business, right? So if you set up your virtual business in PA, that means that you could sell and ship anywhere, and it'd be under PA tax laws, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So that seemed like the move right there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing that I'm looking a little more into because I'm still trying to figure out how to do all that.
Okay.
You know, the office isn't hard because I have a link to get it, but it's the LLC paperwork, it's the trademarking, you know, the tax paperwork, it's all the back end stuff that makes it more difficult.
Now, if you guys need any help, we know a guy. We know a couple guys.
Well, DM me all the information.
I'll definitely do that because we got a couple. We talked to a couple on the show.
What I can do is Joey or me will send you our personal phone numbers and you can text us.
Okay, we're kind of doing the same podcast, you know.
I definitely hook him up.
Joey will send you his personal number because he deals with all of that. I just say okay.
Okay. We'll definitely link y'all up with that. Cause we had an episode where the guy was talking about all the paperwork you need, and then cause he got the account with Bovita, and he said getting an account with them is a bitch because you gotta have all your paperwork and it has to be in order, and they have to read over all of it before they even send anything to you. He said that's the longest process. After you get all that stuff, just getting an account with those guys.
That's for Bovita packs.
Yeah.
Because
that's the
not
long.
only do they do that, because once you get that contact with Bovita, you know you can get the Bovita packs, you can get the bags the Yumi bags, you know, which is the best way to go.
Right. Yeah.
He said it's really good to have them for the business. He said it's just a bitch, like all the paperwork and shit they want to see and everything.
Right.
He said definitely gotta have an order.
And I'm also looking into getting my my wholesaler license as well.
Now see, that's what I was looking into too. I was thinking about doing that.
I know to sell my cigars, I need my wholesaler license.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, what a lot of people don't realize is there's also a benefit to having a wholesaler's license. Because once you get a wholesaler's license, you then can order from wholesale cigar websites. And you can get boxes for your humidor and whoever else.
At price, yeah.
Right.
At wholesale
Correct.
price. So
I got a guy in PA, he got a wholesale license. So what he used to do for me when I lived up there, he'd go to like the warehouse. He got a 5-pack of my Uzi weigh a ton for like $25, $30. I'm like, hell yeah. So give me 5.
I remember.
Yo, give me like 10 of those motherfuckers.
When they were fucking called My Uzi Weighs a Ton.
Yeah, they're not called My Uzi Weighs a Ton no more.
What is?
No,
wasn't that my
Uzi? Muat.
Yeah. It's just too violent.
Uzi had a problem with them using that name, and I guess filed some sort of lawsuit. And they said the only way that they'll drop it is if they change the name.
Those some great cigars, though. Was it Muat?
So yeah, it's the Muat.
It's called Muat now. Muat.
Yeah, Muat.
But I do know a spot that still has the original My Uzi Weighs a Ton.
Wow.
Oh,
shout out to Buttheads in Danbury, Connecticut.
Oh, you know what? And I'm going to holler at you guys because I remember you was doing it
Danbury,
live.
Connecticut.
Big Dog was doing a live with somebody, and I popped in because I was looking for the fuck, I forget the name of this. I was looking for a specific cigar, and one of your buddies told me where to get it from. I'm like, okay, I'll be online trying to get that motherfucker because they don't sell them where I'm at anymore.
What do you want?
It was
the what you're looking for.
Fuck, I forget the name. I was just talking about it earlier.
Well, just DM me or Joey.
I know where it's made. It's made back in my home state of Illinois, in Warren, Illinois. I can't think of the name of it. Fuck. I know where they produce it. I can't think of the name of it. And it's gonna kill me because I know when we get off this, I'm like, Christoph. That's what it was, Christoph.
As soon as we get done.
No. I remember this. Christoph. I like the Maduro.
Christoph Maduro.
Oh yeah, I can get those easily.
I need some of those because there's none in my vicinity. Like there's none.
So I from going to Buttheads had the luxury of
shout out to Buttheads in Danbury, Connecticut, Kevin.
Of smoking the Christoph Galarone series that they don't fucking make anymore.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And he's got like a box and a half left, if that, of one. And that's the last of it in existence.
Ooh, that sounds like now you hear that beat? That sounds like a cigar lounge that we need to go to personally.
That's good.
He's got over 40,000 open boxes.
And he's got, so you know how Tatuaje just released the new Avion Tuxlas?
Mm-hmm.
He's got the original Aviones from like 2012, 2013, 2014. He's got all the old Aganorsa, all the old Drew Estate. He's got the old Alec Bradley Maxes with the crimson writing with the silver label.
I remember. I still got the label in my joint. I saved the label.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question because I did see the cigar that I've been looking for, the Nika Rustic Adobe.
Oh,
yep.
I get that.
They have it there because they have it nowhere here. I've been looking for it.
Bro, abundant as hell over here.
See, everybody I'm on IG and everybody has one.
Actually,
I'm like, yo.
Actually, I hang out with Drew Estate's best friend, Matty Rocks.
My question is though, why you get so close to the camera?
I'm back here. The camera's right here.
No, I'm talking to him.
Oh, it's right here. Oh, okay, I was about to say no, because it's a secret.
Tell you.
It's a secret. No, it's a secret. He can't tell everybody. He can't tell everybody.
Listen, don't be jealous because I look sexy.
You gotta let us know, man. Everybody, this ain't for everybody, man. It's just for us.
But yeah, so if that's what you want, man, just send Joey a list, and when we hit the cigar shop,
okay,
we'll pick a few up for you.
All right, good, yeah, good looking. Because there's a couple I want that I just can't get here.
Yeah, and where you at?
So those Adobes.
I'm in Waldorf from outside of DC.
Oh god damn, bro. Yo, bro, you like 3 hours from me. Take a ride up here with us.
Oh, where y'all at?
We in New York, bro. We like an hour from Jersey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all ain't okay. Yeah.
So you take a ride to fucking Jersey on a Friday night, stay overnight. We'll meet you in fucking Jersey, hang out, smoke some sticks. You know what I mean?
Just so damn far from everything.
Hey, see, you ain't say nothing. The last person that told me that, I popped up in Raleigh on them. You ain't say nothing. I'll pop up.
Listen. Me and Joey, we love to hang out with people we meet. You want to fucking take a trip up here, stay in a hotel? Listen, I'll fucking book a hotel right next to you.
Shit, okay. Okay, we'll definitely set some up. We'll set some
drink, go to dinner.
I'm gonna be all over the East Coast.
I'm smoking.
Listen,
I'm smoking my cigars all the way there.
Listen, only thing I'm not doing, I'll stay in the same hotel as you, but I ain't sleeping with you.
Damn, that would have sealed the deal.
I'm just saying.
I guess, man. You gonna take that off the table? I guess I'll still come.
You won't sleep with me, but how about a little light petting? Just one breath.
I'm gonna go. I guess to go.
Yeah, I ain't sleeping with you.
Oh my goodness, this dude crazy. Okay. Let's get back to the show. Okay, all right. We finna go ahead. We finna go ahead and cut out. Of course, y'all gonna be back on the show because we definitely gonna get more in depth with the wrestling, and we definitely gonna stay up to date on y'all cigar journey. We definitely stay up to date in that, and I'm definitely gonna pop in on some lives if I'm not working. But tell the people, both of you guys, where they can meet y'all, where they get y'all at.
What you want me to tell them?
Where they could contact you guys at, where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on my Boss Dog Cigars Instagram. Basically, that's what I use right now. And you know, as soon as my cigars come out, I'm setting up a webpage for that. Well, I'm not. My son is. But, I appreciate it. You guys want to follow me? Follow me on Boss Dog Cigars on Instagram. I appreciate the gentleman having me on. Much love to the cigar world. Much love to my two brothers right here, BOTL and Cigar Lounge Podcast. Make sure y'all follow them. Make sure you watch all the videos, and make sure y'all follow all of us, all four of us on Instagram, and hit the like page every time you see us go live, or every time you see us on a video or a reel. Make sure you hit it, because that's what makes us bigger. That's what makes the cigar world bigger. But I want to thank these gentlemen. I can't tell you much love. And listen, I appreciate what you're doing for the boutique cigar company. Much love to you two gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. And on Instagram, you guys can find me at the1JoeyVTHA. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big fan of the E, but I'll take the A all day. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you know, hit the like button, you know, every follower is another person in the cigar industry or the cigar smoker. And if you want to talk wrestling, listen, I'm always open to that as well. All you got to do is shoot me a follow and be on the lookout, because there will be promos coming. There will be posters put up. You know, I'll have the 8x10s and everything ready to go. So if anybody wants any, all you got to do is let me know.
And when you do the promos, make sure you tag us in that so that our people can see that too.
If I get 1,000 followers, I'm going to give away 2 5-pack of cigars. So if I get 1,000 followers
and I also,
on Boss Dog Cigars, I'm giving away a 5-pack. I'm giving away 2 5-packs. So make sure y'all follow us.
There we go.
We'll be announcing our winners tomorrow for our contest.
All right. Y'all heard?
I'm up over 1,000, so I'm overdue for a giveaway. But, you know, keep on the lookout. I am going to be doing that hopefully in the next couple weeks. Just keep an eye on the page.
Yes, sir.
Much love to Cigar Lounge Podcast. Make sure y'all follow them.
Tomorrow we'll be going live for our giveaway. Y'all stay tuned. Tune in for that. Man, as always, we out, man.
Peace.
Thanks, brothers.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem, man. I enjoyed it.